What is going on, Nuggets Nation, NBA fans? My name is Tom Leuthner. Welcome back to another episode of Nuggets Today, brought to you by Fan Arch. Great overall game for this Denver Nuggets team to really continue to fight and come back into it, and we'll get to it in a little while. Some things to touch on in this specific game. Well, Denver does have another off day going into what should be one of the easier or the easiest game of this stretch in the Memphis Grizzlies. We'll get to that in a little while. Or actually, we'll get to that tomorrow. But the one thing I do want to start off this episode with, and I could be completely wrong, Julian Strawther early in this game goes and I believe was supposed to check in, ends up not checking in, sort of throws his hands up and the camera's on him in a little bit of what seemed to be frustration. And I've covered this. I covered this a couple days ago. Jonas Valanciunas did the sort of did the same thing when checking out in a recent game when Nikola Jokic came back in. And I do think that David Adelman is steering a tough ship right now. I know it sounds so weird to say, but there's something in me that feels as if this team isn't as close together as it may seem at times. Maybe not the roster, but just with the coach. I think with Mike Malone, there was a lot of respect there, and I don't think that there's not respect for David Adelman. I think that he is still finding his way with some of the guys on this roster. Maybe not the entire roster, but some of the guys in this roster, or on this roster rather. And it's weird to say because, again, Julian Strawther, a guy who has been getting minutes here and there. Jonas Valanciunas, a guy who is almost fully cut out of the rotation and now playing because they need him to play. So maybe they're just frustrated that they think they should be playing more. They're not getting the same amount of minutes. But I don't know. It's something to keep a look at. Maybe I'm completely wrong. I could be completely wrong, and maybe he was just throwing his hands up because he was supposed to check in, and they were going to call it a dead ball, and they ended up not calling it a dead ball. I could be completely wrong here, but something in me sort of feels like David Adelman is not fully in control. And if you go on social media, there are so many people over on X, over on Instagram that believe that David Adelman is not driving the ship, that he is just he's just the coach. He's calling the plays, and the players are the people that make up this team, which I know it sounds so weird to say that, but in theory, yeah. I mean, it's based off of how the players play rather than what Adelman calls, and that's just how the game is. Obviously, I know it sounds so weird to say it, but people think that the players are really driving the ship. The players are making more decisions than people think, and David Adelman's sort of just sitting there. And I agree to a certain extent. Just seeing these guys frustrated, I think, definitely isn't a good look. But on the other hand, these two guys come in and they make a massive impact in this game for the Denver Nuggets. I mean, you look at what they were able to do. Bruce Brown comes in, plays 24 minutes, drops 6, 5, and 2 on 1 for 6 shooting, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 0 for 2 from the three-point line. Tim Hardaway Jr. gets 23 minutes, 3 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 for 7 from the field, 1 for 5 from the three-point line. But then you have Julian Strawther, who comes in and is electric. And this is what I get at with Julian Strawther constantly, where I say that I think he needs a little bit more minutes. He's a spark plug for this Denver Nuggets team. I know when they're fully healthy, he's probably going to be out of the rotation 100%. But he could always wait for his number to be called to be able to come in, because he drops 11 points on 4 for 5 shooting from the field, 1 for 2 shooting from the three-point line, 2 for 2 from the free throw line, as well as 1 steal and no turnovers, which is great for this Denver Nuggets team. It's truly awesome what he is able to do. If he is able to continue to keep that up and be that spark plug for the Nuggets team, I don't think that he'll be out of the rotation, or I don't think he should be out of the rotation. I think that he will be out of the rotation because I just don't think that David Adelman knows what he wants right now. But Julian Strawther is definitely making a case to solidify himself in a role where he should be getting minutes, and so is Jonas Valanciunas. Comes in, plays 10 minutes, drops 14 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 6 for 7 from the field, 1 for 2 from the three-point line, 1 foul, no turnovers. And he's also a little bit of a bruiser. I mean, towards the end of the game, he is really the reason that Denver started this comeback. I mean, he was able to come in. He was hitting every single shot, whether it was a mid-range, a little post-up. Again, he went 1 for 2 from the three-point line. That's his only miss in the game. At one point, he hits a shot, runs back, and sort of throws an elbow or a shoulder, it seemed like, at Matisse Thybulle, I believe it was. And that's what I'm saying. He's a bruiser. You could see him play that physical game, and I think that he needs to get more minutes strictly because of that, because it seems that Denver's scared to play that physical game. And last year, when you think about it, saw it in the Clippers series where Christian Brown and I believe AG were going to fight at one point where James Harden got frustrated, and there's like the iconic picture of the what could have been a brawl in the playoffs, and they need a guy like that. And not to say that there aren't guys like that or there wasn't guys like that last year, because it's almost the same roster, but they need a guy who's not scared to come out and draw some contact and play physical basketball. And especially when you have Bruce Brown on the court with him, where listen, if he's going to get fouls, he's going to get fouls. David Adelman doesn't play him much anyway, so I like that whole bruiser mentality where he's coming out and he's playing that aggressive role that we don't see too much of, and it sort of relieves Nikola Jokic of the duties of being a little physical and maybe a little dirty here and there, because he can attempt and he could afford to get those fouls. So overall, great game for both of them, and they're both making cases for themselves in being in this rotation come the playoff time. When it comes to the beginning of the game, especially, the first half was fully brutal for this Denver Nuggets team when it came to the shooting. You look at what the first half was from the three-point line. Denver went 3 for 16, whereas the Portland Trailblazers went 16 for 30, shot 53% from the three-point line overall in that first half. And then you start looking at the second half of this game, and it sort of feels like Denver shouldn't have won this game if you look at the numbers. From the three-point line specifically, Denver goes 12 for 38, 32% from the three-point line. The Portland Trailblazers go 25 for 52 from the three-point line. I believe that was either tied their career or their team high, or they surpassed their team high, but 48% from the three-point line. Denver ends up beating them out by 10 field goal attempts made overall, but they also took 101 to Portland's 89. They shoot 51% from the field, whereas Portland shot 47% from the field. But overall, great game for the Denver Nuggets to pull that out. Like I said, I'll get to it in a little while. But the one thing that shocked me in this game on the Portland Trailblazers side, first of all, everybody in that starting five was able to just knock down shots. I mean, Denny was the worst shooter from three, which is the craziest thing to say because he's probably their overall best three-point shooter, or their best player on the roster. He goes 1 for 6. Drew Holiday goes 5 for 12. Scoot Henderson goes 4 for 8. Toumani Camara is the guy that shocked me. He drops 30 points. Luckily for Denver, he fouls out late in the game. He goes 8 for 13 from the three-point line. Who would have thought that Toumani Camara would be going 8 for 13 against this Denver Nuggets team? And Denver actually did a semi-decent job of closing out at times. So Portland was just unconscious from three. Donovan Clingan goes 3 for 6. And then off the bench, only 3 guys got real minutes, those being Chris Murray, Rob Williams, and Matisse Thybulle. But Matisse Thybulle, player I love. I would love for Denver to somehow acquire him this offseason, a guy who can at times be a 3-and-D player. He's a great defender, but he goes 4 for 6 from the three-point line. Now, if Denver ends up signing him, he would be the guy that wouldn't hit a shot for the Denver Nuggets. But overall, like I said, Toumani Camara shocked me. Drops 30. He's the team high or the team leader in points per game or points for this game against the Denver Nuggets. 8 for 13 is just insane from the three-point line. The last topic is obviously the fact that Denver did not give up this entire game. It seemed that at no point was Denver going to break that 10-point deficit. Every time I looked up, they might have come close to breaking it, or they just broke it, and they're right back down by 10, 12, 14, whatever the case may end up being. I believe their biggest lead of the night, and correct me if I'm wrong, ended up being the 2-point lead later on in the game, where Aaron Gordon just fully hits. I thought it was a 3, but they said his foot was on the line. They didn't really give a better angle of the 3-point shot, but with 4:38 left to go, Denver's down 9. With 4:19 left to go, Rob Williams makes a free throw to push it back to 10. And it comes down to the last 5 minutes last minute or 2 minutes rather of the game, where they're up 120 to 116. Denver closes that out with Nikola Jokic making 2 free throws. Denny comes back, makes 1 free throw, and then from there on out, it gets to the point where it's 123 to 123 with 1 minute and 12 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And like I said, Aaron Gordon hits that what should have been a 3-pointer that counted as a 2. Denny gets an easy bucket. And then Nikola Jokic just misses 2 easy shots in that fourth quarter, the end of the fourth quarter. He got his own rebound, could have just tapped it back in, but unfortunately he couldn't. And Denver comes out with Aaron Gordon doing what Aaron Gordon does best and fully leading the Denver Nuggets team. He goes off at the end of the fourth quarter to bring Denver back, and then ends up hitting the first three to start up overtime for the Denver Nuggets, where Jamal follows that up with another three. And then from there, Denver just kept it rolling, really. I mean, they come out with another three. Scoot comes back, makes a three. Jamal hits one free throw, hits a second free throw, or he gets the dunk later on after a foul call, because I believe it was the Nikola Jokic screen pass before the dunk where they called it an offensive foul. It wasn't an offensive foul at all. And then Jamal Murray comes out and dunks it. And then from there, it was basically Denver just going on the run to end the game. So great overall game for Denver. Great win for Denver. I'm recording this super late, so if my energy is low, I do apologize. But I will have another episode out for you guys tomorrow before the Memphis Grizzlies game, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you guys for checking out. As always, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as comment down below if you guys want me to cover anything. I'll catch you guys later.